Hi, this is an overview of the Acer Aspire 1 D255 portable netbook. And here it is up close. Okay, so firstly, as you can see, it's a very shiny surface, so it's going to be pretty easy to get your fingerprints appearing on the netbook, unfortunately. It was launched in October 2010, and it weighs 1.27 kilograms, which is a pretty standard weight for a computer such as this. On the front, you've got a little LED panel on the left-hand side, tell you what's going on. In terms of ports, you have power socket, VGA, 2 USB ports on that side, and then on the other side you have got SD card slot here, microphone and headphone jacks, another third USB port, Kensington lock port there, so you can lock your netbook to a desk if you wanted, and an Ethernet port. Opening up the netbook, you can see that it's powered by an Intel Atom processor. It's the Atom N550 processor. It also comes with Windows 7 Starter Edition. You also get Google Android with this netbook, so you can actually dual boot the system. Personally, I don't quite know how useful I would find that. I'm pretty happy using Windows 7 for the time being. You've got a very good sized trackpad here, a good sized mouse button as well, and the keyboard, I really like this keyboard. This is probably my favourite keyboard that I've looked at across the various netbooks that I've seen so far. Very easy to type with, very responsive and well laid out, well spaced. Also you have your standard power button at the back here, and if you look at the actual screen you can tell it's a glossy screen, and as I've mentioned before in other videos, you get good colours with a glossy screen, but the downside is that you're going to get reflections, as you can see here. And then if you look at the top, you've also got a little 1.3 megapixel webcam as well. To give you an idea about how quickly the D255 loads, we'll power it up now. As you can immediately tell, you have your LED lights flashing away, telling you that it's coming to life. So as I said, the D255 comes with an Intel Atom processor, and that runs at 1.5 gigahertz. You're going to find it's fine for most everyday tasks, although if you're doing something which is processor intensive or you're doing lots of multitasking, you probably will find this netbook will slow down a bit, and you're going to get the thinking animation cropping up more and more. It comes with 1 gigabyte of DDR3 RAM, again pretty standard, most other netbooks have the same, and it also has a 250 gig hard disk, again that's pretty similar to most other netbooks. In terms of screen resolution, it's 1024 by 600, fine for this sort of watching on this screen. If you were to plug it into, say, an external display though, you're probably going to find that it's, a bit too big, and I wasn't able to get a smaller resolution when I plugged it into a TV set, so just worth bearing that in mind. Now, when the operating system boots up, the D255 has got multi-gesture trackpad, and I'm a big fan of multi-gesture trackpads. It makes it a lot easier to use the netbook. Like, you can use 2 fingers for scrolling up and down. You can also go forward and back in your web browser by using the horizontal swipe. I just think it just makes it a lot easier to use computers with a multi-gesture trackpad. In terms of battery life, you're looking at getting around about 8 hours with this one. However, if you were running full screen video, maximum brightness, maximum volume, that's going to drop your battery life down to 5.5 hours. It's also worth pointing out that if you wanted to watch high definition video, for example, you're probably not going to do it. It's probably not going to be very good on a netbook such as this due to its integrated graphics chipset. They're not really designed for handling high def video. To compare the D255 with a couple of other netbooks, I've got a couple to show you here. So here's the D255 at the top. Beneath that is the N150 made by Samsung, and beneath that we've got the Toshiba NB305. Now, if we put them all on top of each other, you can obviously see that they're all pretty much the same size. They're also the same weight, and ultimately they're pretty much the same specifications. They've all got the same connectivity as well. So when it comes to choosing between which netbook to go for, I think it mostly comes down to, firstly, aesthetics, which is quite subjective, which ones you like the look of best. And secondly, there's some slight differences between them. So if I just start with the Toshiba, It's a very good netbook, the Toshiba MB305. If I just quickly open it up, you can see it's got a glossy screen like the Acer has. The trackpad is very good, very easy to use trackpad. It also has multi-gestures, for example. The thing that I personally think lets the Toshiba down is the keyboard. I find it a bit frustrating to type with. I didn't always get all the keystrokes registered when I was typing, so I found it a bit frustrating. With the Samsung, this one was a very good netbook. When I was using it, I was very impressed with it. Very good keyboard. It has a matte screen as opposed to a glossy screen, so you don't get as many reflections. So that's one major bonus point to the Samsung. But the biggest drawback, I think, with the Samsung is it's got a small trackpad, which I find quite fiddly to use, and it's got tiny little mouse buttons at the front. Now, I think the Acer pretty much gets it right, takes the best parts of both those two netbooks together and comes up with this one, and I think they've done a pretty good job. They've got an excellent keyboard, very easy to use. They've got a very good trackpad as well, good sized mouse buttons. Now if this had a matte screen like the Samsung had, I think it would be superb. But it's still a very good screen. You're just going to get reflections on bright sunlight, for example. In terms of price, all these three netbooks here pretty much cost the same, really. The Acer you might be able to find a little bit cheaper, typically maybe about £50 cheaper than the other two. In the shops they're typically going to cost about £250, but if you look online you can sometimes get some cheaper deals. Particularly, I mean, I bought this one here, this Acer, which is in perfect good condition. It was a refurbished netbook, and I bought it for £150. So if you do look around, you can get some pretty good deals on these netbooks. So that's my overview of the Acer Aspire 1 D255 portable netbook. The plus points: very well designed, excellent keyboard, excellent mouse trackpad, long battery life, very portable, easy to take with you. And it also dual boots Windows and Google Android. The one main drawback I would say is the glossy screen. If it had a matte screen, I think it would make this netbook even better. But overall, I think it's a very good netbook to use. I hope you've enjoyed this overview, and if you'd like to check out some more reviews, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is TechSaver UK. Thanks.